I want to read something to you this morning that I believe will bless you. And it's from the Word of God, from the book of Deuteronomy, in it's chapter 28. It's a very familiar chapter that's quoted sometime. But there are some very, very important keys in this particular chapter that has to do with the blessings coming on your life. And of course, I understand there's 58 verses of curses, but we're not interested in the curses. We're looking at the blessings of the Lord. There has to be something in my life that activate God's blessings according to Deuteronomy 28. Listen to the word of the Lord. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on you and overtake you, if thou shalt listen unto the voice of the Lord thy God." Now there are some conditions here. We know the blessings we talk about. We're blessed in the field, we're blessed in the city, but we fail to realize there is something that activates these blessings that are found in these verses. Again, it says, number one, listen, in chapter 28, verse 1, "And it shall come to pass," here it is, "if thou shalt listen diligently unto the voice of the Lord your God," with your heart intently. If you listen to God's voice, you listen to his word, not only just to hear it, to observe and to do all his commandments. And Moses was talking here, he said, "which I command you this day." He said, now if you listen diligently with your heart, I mean attentively to the word of God, to observe to do it, with the mind of doing it, not just to have information about it, but I want to do that word. He said these things. He said that the Lord your God will set you on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake you, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord your God. Now, if the blessings aren't coming upon you and overtaking you, you might need to go back and look and check and see if you are hearkening diligently unto the word, to observe, to do what he's commanded you. We may be great listeners, we may be observing it, but we may not have the proper intent to do it. And if you go back and take a look at this and say, "God, you said you'll make me the head rather than the tail, the lender rather than the borrower. You'll bless me going in and coming out. My storehouse will be filled. The enemy will come at me one way and flee several ways." And that's a promise from God, but it's predicated upon you diligently listening to the voice of God. And that means to hearken to it diligently. I want to hear it. To observe, meditate on it, think about it, and to do. He said if you do that, every promise he made in Deuteronomy 28 will come to pass in your life. Now, isn't that wonderful and simple? It's just a matter of me making a choice today that I'm going to hear the voice of God. I have to have that. I make it my presence every morning. I have to hear from God. My life will not operate right unless I hear from God. And then when I hear from him, I have to willingly do. And so again, remember, Deuteronomy chapter 28, all of these blessings are predicated upon you, what? Hearken diligently unto his word, or to the voice of the Lord, your God, to observe and to do all he commands you to do. If you'll do that, he said, all these blessings will come upon you. I know you want to be blessed, and so I speak the words of God over. Today, you're going to listen. Today you're going to have a heart for the word of God, and today you're going to do the word of God, and his promises are going to come to pass for you immediately. Be blessed, go knowing that you have victory today, and know that you're blessed of the Lord.